I'm Maggie, and I want to talk to you about this illegal Federal Reserve Incorporated that's filed in the state of Delaware. I talk about these illegal government corporations that are filed in Delaware in my book, Wonder Powers, The Power of Truth Will Save the World. It's available at wonderpowers.com. So let's look at some of the details of what I found about this Federal Reserve. It's a nonprofit Delaware corporation that was actually given a Las Vegas phone number with a 702 area code 598-1440. It has an incorporation date of September 13th, 1914, file number 0042817, registered agent 907-3477. All this information is available in Delaware. The Delaware Business Incorporators, 3422 Old Capitol Trail, Suite 700, Wilmington, Delaware, 19808. The last annual report was actually in 1998, so I initially sent this 1998 report and I found there was only one signature by the president that I couldn't read. He had bad handwriting. So then I received the 1996 report, and it actually had 5 board member signatures that I could read. A.N. Guastillo, M. McLean, and Ralph Sherman. They all lived at 70 Walnut Wesley, Massachusetts. And then we had an R.A. Cavallero at 19528 Ventura Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, and a Lim Suitley in Calabasas, California. So this was the board of directors that was listed in our Federal Reserve Incorporated in Delaware. So I also got the 1995 report, and they had changed to a different address at 4200 Wisconsin Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20016. Now it said that the directors in 1995 were some of the same people, A.N. Guastillo and M. McLean. Now the nature of the business listed changed from consulting in 1995 to financial in 1996. So then I decided to try to call that Las Vegas phone number, and it was interesting. A man picked up by the name of Steve Stein. So he said that he was an independent criminal lawyer who had that phone number for over 20 years. He said he had no affiliation with the Federal Reserve, and he had never worked with them or for them. So he sounded believable. I think he was telling me the truth. I'm pretty intuitive. However, I couldn't understand why this phone number was listed with the Federal Reserve Association, this incorporation in Delaware. So I called the Delaware Secretary of State, and I asked them if it was possible that this Federal Reserve could list fake phone numbers and fake names. And to my surprise, they said yes. They said that they have no way to police the corporations, and they can list anything they want in their information or nothing at all. So basically, the Delaware Secretary of State doesn't verify information that is submitted, they just file it. That means that the Federal Reserve could list Wonder Woman or Mickey Mouse as president. They can use anyone's phone number or anyone's address, and it would be legal. So it looks like they did exactly that. Now, in any case, prior to 1995, the Federal Reserve was not listed until 1932, and then it goes all the way back to 1914. So I decided to go ahead and pay this $50 fee they were asking me to look into the archives to see if I found any more information. It was kind of getting interesting. So they sent me an initial filing dated December 13th, 1915, and this was listed at the Federal Reserve Association 201 Coal Exchange, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. The nature of business was now listed in 1915 as fraternal insurance. Interesting for a banking or central bank, huh? And it was also listed with the supreme officers, President Philip T. Robe, R.A.U.B., of Dallas, Pennsylvania. And we also had a John D. Davenport of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Treasurer was John F. Tubbs of Taylor, Pennsylvania. We had a secretary of H.B. Wilson, a chief medical director, A.E. Smith, second vice president, J.H. Bellore, M.J. Fry, and a C.L. Nagel. There was also listed members of the Supreme Council, where all these people were pretty much listed with the same names. I have this all listed in my book with the names and addresses. I looked into the 1916 report, which was similar. There was a few names added, M.A. Cease and Barnett and George Thomas. Also H.R. Frick, G.H. Detterline. In 1928, there was a few more names, Barnett, Thomas, and an H.B. Wilson. So they changed their name that was listed in this location from Pennsylvania to Washington, D.C. to Delaware, and the nature of business was also changed from fraternal insurance to financial to consulting. Obviously, most of these corporations had not been filed for most of the years, so either if they don't make enough money or they don't have to file, or they can choose not to file. I guess you don't have to file every year with corporations. So moreover, they apparently filed all of these corporations in Delaware in the first place because there is no verification. There's no corporation police there. So it makes it very difficult for anyone to find them or to find their information. And it's interesting that since the IRS incorporated, yes, there's an IRS incorporated also, and the Federal Reserve incorporated, their last filing was in the 1930s, and then there appears to be nothing filed again until the 1980s and 1990s. So it made me wonder, did somebody inherit these corporations? Why did they decide to refile all of a sudden then? 60 years later, it was kind of odd. Another thing that I found in looking on the internet, the Federal Reserve President, 1914, Philip T. Robe, I mentioned, was found to have a prestigious hotel in Dallas, Pennsylvania during that time called the Robe's Hotel and Popular Roadhouse. And Robe was an active Freemason, and his Freemason group regularly held meetings at this hotel. So the Freemason movement appears to have originated with the founding of the U.S. government, as it was linked to the founding fathers, where our first president, George Washington, was also a Freemason. And the Freemasons make an issue of stating that they are not a religion. It appears that this group wanted to make it clear because they were trying to move away from the England church during that time of the Revolution in order to gain independence for America. They wanted nothing to do with religion. So while it may have started out a good idea with positive intentions, over the years it seems to have evolved into like a religious cult type of a thing, whether they intended to or not. As we can see, by the early 1900s, they were holding underground secretive meetings involving this Federal Reserve, which now involves filing fake information with this Delaware corporation. It's certainly not for the people or by the people. But with that, it's also possible that this Freemason group may or may not still be involved. But we need to demand that Congress get to the bottom of this Federal Reserve Incorporated and all of the government corporations listed there that I talk about in my book. They need to dissolve all of these illegal corporations and this Federal Reserve. And the Congress needs to be the corporation police. I mean, who's gonna oversee this? So, if they're gonna be pansies or ignore us and not handle the job, then we need to get new people in office that will do the job and can handle it. So please join me in helping me save the world here. We need to do something about this, and please share this video with everyone and with your congressmen and ask them to look into it and help do something about it. All right, thank you for listening.